Hello Curious and welcome back. After the tragic passing of Gianni Versace, his sister Donatella took over the leadership of one of the most famous and influential fashion brands in the world. However, the heir to virtually everything under the Versace name is the founder's niece, Allegra, who decided to distance herself from her great heritage at an early age. The girl remains very mysterious while having an extremely complicated life story, and basically a sad one too. So stay tuned until the very end to find about the enigmatic life of Allegra, Versace's greatest heiress, and why her uncle left almost all of the estate to her, and why this is her greatest curse. But before we continue, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss any of our future videos. In order to better understand this story, we will need to briefly tell you about who founded the brand whose name everyone probably associates with it today. Gianni Versace was born in Reggio Calabria, Italy in 1946, and as a young boy he accompanied his mother while she worked. Francesca Versace was a fashion designer and had her own boutique. Later, a young 26-year-old Gianni, after graduating from college, worked with his mother for a short period of time when they moved to Milan in 1972. Because of his talent, he also worked in several other places where he could gain experience, hone his skills, and develop his own artistic identity. As a result, just a few years later, he founded his own brand, and thus was born Gianni Versace, known today mostly as Versace. In 1978, the designer held his first fashion show, and Versace began as a family business with Gianni's older brother Santo Versace, today as president and co-CEO, and younger sister Donatella as vice president, designer and creative director. In the 1980s, the brand was spectacularly successful, and its Medusa logo became emblematic because the idea behind the brand's visual identity was to communicate that anyone who looked at Gianni's work and creations would not be able to forget what they saw. In short, he was to be captured and forever remain in the world of Versace's beautiful things, just as Medusa metrified anyone who looked at her. Did you know that, Curious? Gianni began to create his unique style by combining extravagance, luxury, rebellion and sensuality, which, however, for years disturbed some of the more traditional fashion industry, who thought that Versace products looked disturbing and even vulgar. However, the creator skillfully used the accusations and negative comments attributed to him to create his trademark and become a symbol of rule breaking. As early as the 1980s, Versace fashion shows attracted the attention of many celebrities, and Gianni organized these shows as events inaccessible to the paparazzi, but with a legion of frenzied fans outside to give the events an atmosphere of special exclusivity from the world of fashion and celebrities, which not everyone is given access to. In addition to celebrities such as Madonna, Elton John, Princess Diana and Sylvester Stallone, the shows of course attracted a whole host of loyal models, who at the time was somewhat of a Versace trademark and marked the era of supermodels. Who here does not remember the legendary Cindy Crawford, Linda Evangelista, Kate Moss or Naomi Campbell, who remain great divas to this day. In the 1990s, Versace became a fashion empire, dressing actresses and celebrities at important events such as the Oscars and the Grammy Awards, not forgetting the intense spread of advertising campaigns featuring the most famous and important celebrities of all time. With time very popular in Europe, Versace began to expand its empire to the United States and the rest of the world. In addition, it expanded the scope of its business and also began to create fashion accessories, decorations, objects, and everything you can imagine, along with creating and producing important opera and ballet costumes. Unfortunately, the life of the brilliant Gianni ended all too soon. As some of you might know, in the summer of 1997, while returning from his morning walk, the designer had his life taken outside of his Miami Beach home. At the time, the brand was undergoing a transformation, as extravagance, luxury, freedom and celebrity daring made way for more colourful and sophisticated Versace, which with decorative items, housewares, jewellery, handbags, shoes, perfumes and eyewear began to create outfits for all genders and ages, including children. However, the tragic and sudden passing of the founder of the fashion house affected not only their entire brand, but of course also the Versace family. And the designer's friends were also devastated, as well as the whole host of artists and fans who gave Gianni great affection and recognition. A devastated Donatella Versace, however, gathered all her courage and took over the brand, becoming the creative director of the entire company. Meanwhile, Gianni's younger sister has 2 children, Allegra and Daniel Versace, but it was Allegra who became the main heir to the entire empire after the passing of her uncle. Why? Simply because she was his favorite. So in making his will, her uncle bequeathed 50% of the Versace brand to his niece, who was only 11 years old at the time. The remaining 30% belongs to Santo and only 20% to Donatella. And so, the girl's fortune is now estimated at $900 million. Imagine, almost $1 billion for someone who doesn't even want to deal with the company. Meanwhile, her mother Donatella really got involved with the brand, which in addition to perfumes and all sorts of accessories, years later also introduced a makeup line, Versace Beauty, and created a very luxurious hotel complex such as the Palazzo Versace in Australia and Dubai. Gianni's sister has represented and guided her brother's legacy with dignity, never lowering the brand's standards or the tendency to associate with celebrities. 21 years ago, she dressed Jennifer Lopez in an unforgettable creation at the 2000 Grammys, which was also later copied by other celebrities. In addition, the jungle dress was redesigned and given another life. Besides J.Lo, Donatella also dressed other celebrities such as Madonna, Courtney Love, Christina Aguilera, Demi Moore, and Lady Gaga, for example. So despite the tragic passing of the founder, the brand resiliently continued to operate. But what happened to Allegra? The girl, who today is already a 35-year-old woman, unlike her relatives and the intention of the brand, does not like to put on a show and definitely prefers to stay in the shadows. In one of her few interviews, in 2011, she confessed that she would have been happier if she had been born into a regular, normal family. Does she not appreciate all that she has? What do you curious think of Allegra's attitude to say such words with almost $1 billion in her bank account? In another interview, this time for Harper's Bazaar, she mentioned that sometimes Donatella put silk clothes on her when she went to elementary school, and when she was still in kindergarten, she had to be very careful not to accidentally get her dress dirty. She could not play and spend carefree time like other children, and she admitted that for a young age she was marked by her name. Her childhood was spent under the pressure of study, and she took lessons in history, art and music. Elton John had even donated his piano to her. But it was Gianni's niece that he loved the most. For besides being the one who firmly intervened in her uncle and Donatella's squabbles, she was also a safe haven for Gianni. She knew almost everything about her uncle, because they spent long hours talking, and she accompanied him everywhere. Gianni, a year before his passing, in an interview with Vanity Fair in 1996, confessed that he considered Allegra his own daughter, although the girl had both parents. But Donatella was not jealous, because she herself said that her children were also Gianni's children. The closeness to her uncle, however, was exactly what was lost to Allegra after his sudden departure from this world. The girl was very surprised when the will was read, which said that her uncle had left her virtually his entire empire. In addition to the Versace brand, Donatella's daughter also received a mansion in Miami worth $25 million, a property in New York worth $7.5 million, and a mansion in Milan worth as much as $45 million. However, she was not supposed to get access to all these assets until she turned 18, so she had to wait a few years. But that didn't matter to her at all, because to everyone's surprise, she decided not to get involved in the family business until she was 24. Allegra preferred to study away from Europe in the United States. Her dream was to become an actress, but her last name did not allow her to do so. So, she worked backstage on Broadway in New York, using the name Beck so that no one would associate her with the fashion empire. But even taking all these precautions, everyone soon learned that she was the great Versace heiress. The girl was constantly pursued by many paparazzi. She felt branded and pigeonholed by the company. Nowhere could she remain anonymous and build her own identity. All of this proved to be so detrimental to her that it contributed to her ill health and destroyed her life. In 2007, Allegra's parents confessed to the Daily Mail that their daughter had been battling anorexia for years and receiving medical help. The girl at one point in her life almost lost it, weighing only 28 kilograms. She was close to passing and her health was completely destroyed. Then Allegra completely withdrew from public life. But in 2016, she appeared at the Met Gala with Donatella. However, it was not her great return to the stage, as she said that, unlike her mom, she sincerely hates the celebrity world. Currently, Allegra is constantly having to take care of her health, and despite being the Versace heir, it is her mother, Donatella, who is responsible for everything. A former employee of the company revealed that if the 35-year-old sees herself on TV or in the press, she panics, which literally looks like she has lost her mind because she is struggling with severe body dysmorphia. That's why Donatella forced the director of the series The Assassination of Gianni Versace, American Crime Story, which tells the Versace story, to keep the scenes with Allegra from seeing the light of day. She did this out of concern for her daughter's mental health. Initially, scenes related to the heiress of the great fortune were filmed, but because of her body dysmorphic disorder, a disease that prevents Allegra from normal functioning, the Netflix production, out of respect for her, the most important person in the life of the designer, was not included. So, today Allegra's life still remains very mysterious, and little is known about her. The girl prefers to live anonymously. She does not keep public social media and only has a private account on Instagram. So after knowing her story, tell us, curious, if you think that Allegra Versace is a good example of the saying, money does not buy happiness? Or would you like to be in her shoes and enjoy all the privileges and responsibilities of a billionaire heiress? As always, we look forward to your comments, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel. And if you enjoy our content, you can support us by clicking on the thanks button below. Until next time.